Blue Valley held a so-called re-entry meeting on February 17, 2023. Blue Valley bigwigs didn't want to discuss anything, basically. The only findings that were shared with us during the meeting were our son's artwork with stick figures. 5 drawings altogether. Boyish drawings that can be found in many popular children's books. So these books can be found in elementary schools' libraries, and actually they are in the children's section of every public library. So after all the efforts to build a case against my younger son, and after all the investigation that took place, involving 2 school resource officers and so many staff members, like Kelly Northup, Peggy Sauls, Polly Blair, Megan Graver, and so many parents and students, and after all the artwork that was confiscated, after all the surveillance footage they watched, the only evidence Blue Valley could share with us was 5 drawings of our son. Megan Graber was also in the meeting, and we asked her questions about her investigation into the murderous allegations. But Blue Valley's board attorney, Melissa Hillman, immediately stepped in and hushed us. She said, "I'm not going to let this turn into an interrogation of Mrs. Graber." Then Megan Graber started to ask our son questions. So she showed the drawings to our son and asked him, "How do you think this drawing will make your classmates feel?" She was basically asking him leading and suggestive questions to elicit the answer she wanted. So basically, she wanted to make him say, I drew pictures that scared my classmates, that made my classmates feel threatened." It became clear very quickly that the whole point of the meeting wasn't to hear our concerns or to hear our side of the story or share the investigation findings with us, but to talk us into requesting a transfer, school transfer. They said we can have a fresh start by transferring our son to another Blue Valley school. This transfer, the fresh start, as they called it, basically functioned as a carrot for the offer. We refused, not only because our son was innocent, but also because he was the victim himself. It's like how companies deal with sexual harassment. They don't transfer the perpetrator, but they transfer the victim because they want to cover up the sexual harassment case as a preemptive defense against a lawsuit, against a sexual harassment lawsuit. So we refused to request a transfer and walked out of the meeting. Later, on the same day, Blue Valley offered another deal to us by email through our lawyer. So our lawyer was a fraud and he's retired now, but we have an ongoing lawsuit against him, but that's all another video. Anyways, our lawyer, who basically worked on our case for around 5 hours only, passed the Blue Valley's new offer to us by email. But this time, the deal included a stick besides the carrot. So the consequences of not accepting the deal would be suspension and imposition of strict rules on our younger son, like assigning a monitor to him, not allowing him to bring a backpack to school, frequent inspections, so on and so forth. So if our son stays at Wolf Springs, he will be suspended and he will be treated like a threat. So that's the stick. But if he transfers to another school, he won't get a suspension, no inspections, no backpack ban, no monitor. So he won't be treated like a threat in his new school. And that's the carrot. Later on the same day, I reported the teachers who framed the cases against our children to Blue Valley bigwigs by email. I also exposed all these unscrupulous deals Blue Valley offered us by posting them on a private Facebook group made up of by Wolf Springs parents. In retaliation, the next morning, the superintendent, Tonya Merrigan, instructed me to cease communication with Wolf Springs staff on February 18, 2023. On the same day, Melissa Hillman banned me from communicating with Wolf Springs staff. and threatened to restrict my access to school altogether if I violated the ban. On February 19, I made a counteroffer to Blue Valley. I said, we will request a school transfer for both of our children as long as their names are clear from the accusations. Because Blue Valley publicly humiliated them by making announcements to all the parents and to all the staff members. But Blue Valley dismissed my offer, saying that they would make the announcements they wanted. They also said that they had revoked our children's transfer to Wolf Springs and were sending them back to their so called homeschool, Cedar Hills Elementary. In reality, our children had never attended Cedar Hills a single day in their lives. So they made them look like a transfer students in Blue Valley, and they were uh, by using some bureaucratic tricks transferring them back to their homeschool, which they never attended in their lives. We later heard that Megan Graver made an announcement to the entire Wolfspring staff stating that both of our children made death threats, and as a result, we requested Blue Valley to transfer them to another school. So in the end, Blue Valley thought it tied up all the loose ends. They lied to parents, they lied to staff members, they silenced everyone who could possibly speak out against their lies. So they never thought anyone could challenge them, could fight them, could expose them. And they thought we would just move somewhere else and lick our wounds. And even if we stayed, they thought we would homeschool our children. They miscalculated, they misjudged, they got it wrong. Just because they have the power doesn't mean they have the right.